Okay, today we're going to put a CV joint in. We already did the driver's side CV joint. This is a 2000 BMW 3 Series, so we already got the car jacked up. We have it on safety stands. Now it's always very smart to put your car in safety stands. You don't want to work on anything where the stupid car is going to fall on you. So we're going to go through step by step. We just practiced on the other side. It was a pretty easy job. As long as you take it slow, it's not the hardest thing in the world. Tan's gonna try to translate in Vietnamese how to do this also. There you go, Tan.
Yeah.
Just hold it.
Yep. Yeah. Bữa nay làm cái CV joint cho cái xe BMW 2000. Yeah, trước tiên là phải lift cái xe lên đó, bỏ cái jack vô. Cũng bên kia đã làm xong rồi, bữa nay làm lại cái bên của passenger. So, first step là mình lift cái ca lên để lấy cái bánh xe ra.
Now with this car, I'm not sure if you can see it, but the CV boots are ripped on this car. So we're just going to replace the whole CV joint. To just put the boots on is just a waste of time, because you got to take the CV axle out, and to get a new boot, you know, just replace the dang thing. So anyway, we're going to do this CV joint. So we're going to take this nut off from this side here. We also have to take this bolt out here to loosen this piece of sheet metal, and we're going to disconnect or take this bolt out here to get the McPherson strut out of the housing. And of course we'll take the brakes and we'll hang it up. We'll hang it up on a hanger up here so Tans can translate.
Hôm nay sẽ làm thay cái CV joint của cái xe, tại vì cái cao su nó đã bị đứt hết rồi, bị rách, thành ra cát nó sẽ vô. Mà thay cái cao su á, thì còn lâu hơn, thành ra khó hơn, thành ra thay nguyên cái trục luôn á, thì nó dễ hơn. Phải mở trước tiên là phải mở cái thắng ra, caliper gỡ ra, xong rồi mình sẽ treo nó lên để cho nó khỏi bị hư. Chúng ta sẽ làm từng step một.
Okay, we're gonna loosen up this bolt right here. I got the light on it. These bolts are always a pain in the butt. Okay, there's no nut side to this bolt. There's only a head side. So what we're gonna do to loosen this up, what I've found, is obviously we put a lot of Lucinol on there. But what Tan's gonna do, he's gonna loosen a little bit, tighten, loosen, tighten, just a little at a time, because the last thing you want to do is bust the head off this bolt. Nobody's gonna like it. Okay. Okay, so this bolt was a pain. We got it out, but what we did, we put a lot of Lucinol on it. We loosened it, it came just a little bit, then we tightened it and loosened it. We did that for 10 minutes. You do not want to break this stupid bolt. So whatever you can do to get that thing out nicely, because if you break the bolt, you're going to have a bad day. I don't have heat. We don't have heat, so anyway, okay, Tan. Just explain how we got the bolt in.
Yeah, để mà tháo cái bô này ra đó, cái này hơi khó một chút. Nó bị nằm ở trong đó lâu quá, nó rỉ sét đó. Thành ra mình phải vặn nó vô rồi lại vặn ra, cứ tới lui á, rồi xịt thêm cái W240 đó. Thì cuối cùng thì mình cũng lấy ra được. Nhưng mà đừng có làm mạnh quá mà nó gãy cái bô này á, thì phiền phức lắm. Thành ra mình cứ làm từ từ, cứ vặn vô rồi vặn ra một chút á, thì từ từ nó sẽ ra. Okay. Yep.
Can I use this now, or do you want me to wait?
Yeah, you can use it. Now we're going to take off this nut that's on the CV joint itself. What you got to do, you got to knock these little flanges out of the way, because they're made for locking nuts, so the thing doesn't loosen up. So you got to take like a chisel, you know, and tap it out of there. So now we'll put our impact wrench in. These usually come off. They're usually tight, but they come off without too much of a problem.
Cái việc tới đó là mình phải tháo cái ốc của cái trục bánh xe ra. Cái này thì nó hơi trở ngại là vì mình phải dùng cái đục á để mà mình banh nó ra, tại vì nó đã bóp vô để cho nó khỏi bị loose á. Nên mình dùng cái đục mình đẩy nó ra đó. Rồi sau đó mình sẽ dùng cái socket để mình tháo nó ra. Trước tiên thì xịt chút W40, sau đó mình cái socket mình tháo nó ra. Đó, tháo ra rất là dễ dàng.
Piece of cake. And we just took the nut out. Like I said, they usually come out pretty well. And you also saw the strut slid out of the housing. That's the bolt we took out prior. So maybe you could take the nut out first. Doesn't really matter. Got to the same result. So, and we hung the caliper up too, of course. We don't want that getting to be a problem. We will take out the ABS sensor. That's right in here. You don't want to risk messing with that wire because again, those sensors cost money. So you don't want to screw something up. So we'll take that out, and next thing we do is pop the CV joint out. Go ahead.
Việc tới đó là mình tháo cái ốc để mà tháo cái ABS sensor ra đó. Cái đó là next step đó. Mình tháo cái ABS. That's a ABS sensor.
Just get it out of the way. We want to put it out of the way so we don't bust it.
Cái này là mắc tiền lắm, thành ra mình cũng không có muốn đụng vô để nó hư đó.
Okay. Now you're gonna take a chisel. Now we're gonna take a punch. Let me just back up a second. We're gonna take a punch, and we're gonna force it in here. There's a little divot. Can you show the divot in the CV joint? There's a little divot in the CV joint, in the center. We're gonna pound on it. These things are usually in here a little bit. So we'll hit against this. We'll pop the CV joint out, and we'll have it disconnected from the hub. Want to explain that?
Yeah, cái việc tới đó là mình dùng cái đục ra để mình đục để đẩy cái trục của cái CV joint ra khỏi cái thắng. Chỉ nó không có cái ốc gì hết, mình chỉ dùng cái đục với cái búa mình đẩy nó ra là nó sẽ đi ra khỏi cái disc brake, là cái CV joint sẽ lấy ra được một đầu.
You can video it if you want to. You can see the CV joint moving back in the spline. So it's moving, so that's it.
Đó, mình đục ra thì
CV joint's free.
Cái CV joint nó đã đi văng ra rất là dễ dàng, nó slip xuống.
Now, take your time.
We don't need to, mình không có phải dùng cái tie rod đem ra, mình chỉ cần cỡ cái ốc này tụt xuống là xong. Bây giờ là chỉ cần thay cái CV joint là xong.
Yeah, we don't need to. I've seen other videos where they take the tie rod end out, and it didn't seem like you needed to do it with this one. And you can see that we can pretty much. It's gonna. Oh, this CV joint's busted. Look at that thing.
Oh, it's broke.
That's broke. But
cái CV joint này đã bị hư rồi.
We did this. Perfect timing, that's what I would say. So now we're gonna get a screwdriver back behind that housing and pop this thing out of there. So this thing is definitely past its prime. So.
Rồi, may quá, cái này đã gần hư gãy rồi. Thành ra vừa tháo ra là rút ra luôn. Bây giờ là lấy cái phần kia ra là đem cái mới vô. See, mình dùng cái screwdriver á, ở dưới đó, xong rồi mình bẩy á, thì mình kéo được cái phần trục kia ra khỏi cái hộp số. Yeah.
We just put a screwdriver in there and pried right in this area here between the two halves, and there's a little E-clip that holds this thing in place. This is the very long shaft, but they pop right out and they, push right back in. No bolts or anything, so it's relatively simple to get them out of there. So let's pull it the rest of the way out.
Nó không cần phải có một cái vít nào hết, mình chỉ cần dùng cái screwdriver đó, mình nảy nó ra, xong mình kéo nguyên cái trục nó ra, là cái cũ đã ra. Bây giờ chỉ cần đẩy cái mới vô là xong.
This is the E-clip. that this is the E-clip that holds the whole thing in place. So the new shaft comes with the E-clip, and we'll compare this one to the new one in a second here. But so anyway, you don't have to do anything with the new one. It all comes assembled. You pop it right in. Here we're just looking at the new shaft, obviously this one here, and the old one. It's always good to take a look at what you're taking out, what you're putting in, just to make sure that it's going to fit. So this one, obviously, when we took it apart, came apart. It's that pretty much means it's just about lasted a perfect amount of time. And the problem with these was the CV joint boots were busted, and the owner wanted to put new boots on. And I said, you know, by the time you get the CV joint out and attempt to put the boots on, let's just put a new CV unit in. So if he would have bought the boots, obviously we'd be done, because CV joint broke. So if you have boots that are leaking, by all means, just get a new CV joint altogether, because you're doing the same amount of work, actually a little less if you get a CV joint. And the thing was $120, I think, that CV joint.
Đây so sánh hai cái bạc, một cái cũ một cái mới á, thì thấy cái cao su của cái cũ nó bị bể tan tành ra hết, thành ra nó phá hết những cái cơ phận của cái trục. Thành ra nếu mà mình mua cái cao su mình thay không á thì cũng có, nhưng mà khi mà cái cao su nó đã bị bể, tức là đã lâu rồi, thì mình nên thay cả một cái trục luôn. Là vì cái cong á, mở ra thay cái cao su cũng bằng cái cong thay luôn cái trục, mà cái trục cũng không có mắc lắm, độ chừng khoảng 150. Nếu mà quý vị đưa ra dealer làm thì có thể mất cả gần 1000 bạc. Cả hai trục thì hình như 200 đồng. Nếu ra dealer thì chắc nó cũng lấy khoảng gần 1000 đồng.
Before we put the CV joint in, what Tan's doing is cleaning up all the areas. Obviously this bore is where the strut goes into. So it's always best to clean this stuff up. Then we'll get the CV joint in here. We'll grease everything up a little bit so it goes together nice. And it'll be wonderful. You want to talk to it?
Yeah. Trước khi mình gắn cái CV joint mới vô á, thì mình phải chùi cho nó sạch để mà mình gắn vô nó dễ dàng hơn. Vì hồi nãy mình đã đem ra nó hơi khó, bây giờ mình chỉ cần làm clean cho nó thật sạch rồi mình gắn nó vô trở lại. It's a nice shot.
Here we got the CV joint getting ready to go back in. Tan did real good. He cleaned all this up, greased it a little bit. You know, no big deal. And put a little grease on the splines on either end. We want this thing to go in easy, so a little bit of grease goes a long way. So he's going to shove it in here, and here, why don't you talk to it first? He's going to shove it in here, and we'll hit it with a little bit of a hammer on this end, the plastic hammer. But go ahead, Tan, talk to it.
Yeah, trước khi mà cho cái CV joint trục nhét vô trong cái hộp số đó, thì mình phải cho một chút mỡ để cho nó trơn ở trong mấy cái gear, rồi mình sẽ slide nó vô trong. Ok.
Get it straight in there. There you go. Now give it a firm bump. Go ahead and shove it in there. You'll find some splines.
Oh.
Got her in there?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to put the nut back on this side, and we're going to hit it with a plastic hammer, and that'll bump it into place. Okay, so we got to get remember if you would, there was a clip on the end of the spline, so we got to bump it into place. So what Tan did here, he put the nut on, and the reason we put the nut on right now is we're going to hit this with this plastic hammer. And it shouldn't affect the shaft at all if we didn't have the nut, but just to be cautious, it's going to protect those threads. The last thing we want to do is screw something up putting this thing in place. Go ahead, you can talk to it.
Yeah. Khi mà mình cho cái CV joint trục vào hộp số đó, thì mình dùng một cái nấc của nó, mình vặn vô phía đầu á, để mà mình dùng cái hammer mình đóng vô thì nó không hư cái đầu trục. Mình đóng nhẹ nhẹ để cho nó đi vô trong. Đây ạ.
Okay, we got the pressure up against the CV joint. We're going to hit it right here to help get that clip in place. Whew, should be just about there. And we got about another 1/4 inch to go. So anyway, slam out a little bit and let it get there. Okay, you can turn it off.
Okay.
Here we got the strut going in. You can see it's sort of poking through here. Okay, we got to get the strut itself. I should say the CV joint going in. Here we got the strut itself. And just be prepared. We got to line this little tab up here with a slot in the back of the bracket here. So once we get this a little closer, we have to manipulate the strut a little bit to get it in place. So we're going to do that right now and get everything in place, and we should be getting ready to button this thing back up.
Sau khi mình đã cho cái ác vô trong cái transmission, còn đầu kia đó thì mình cho vô cái bánh, cho vô cái disc brake, còn cái step cuối cùng là mình slide nó vô trong cái ống nhúng. Nhưng mà make sure là phải có cái gai này nó vô trong cái rãnh này để cho nó align. Ok.